You're listening to the latest dose of Bipolar Recorder. This podcast may cause dizziness and blurred vision. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Bipolar Recorder. My name is Hunter Keegan. Thank you so much for joining me today. One night last November, in the early days of Twitter Spaces, my friend Palina, a fellow mental health podcaster who lives with bipolar disorder, and myself, conducted an experiment. Twitter Spaces are online audio chat rooms where people can come together and speak about all sorts of different topics. Palina and I came up with the idea of conducting a podcast episode as other people listened in over a recorded Twitter Space, and we thought we'd give it a shot. So we fired up some weed, got super high, and got online, and Palina recorded the conversation on her laptop. After we recorded this, we sort of put it on the back burner for a few months. Then, a few days ago, Palina and I were talking and the topic came up again, so we decided to release it as an episode of Bipolar Recorder. You'll notice that my mic quality sounds a lot different in this episode. That's because since we were recording over Twitter Spaces, I had to use my phone's mic to record. So, apologies in advance that my voice sounds extra compressed for this installment. This conversation is a pretty casual mental health chat between friends. We talk about music as a coping strategy, childhood experiences shaping adulthood, and the value of self-worth in relationships, as well as a bunch of other great stuff. As this recording starts out, Palina had been playing music for the listeners in the space, and pulled up a couple of the tracks I've done with my band Last Known Images. So we start by listening to a couple of my songs, and then she asks me some follow-up questions about them as they relate to mental health. This one she pulls up is called Due North. Here's a quick clip from it.
It was nice, actually. Got some nice bass lines.
Oh,
yeah, I like it. You know,
Thank you. People will either get it or they won't. Fuck 'em.
They're like,
Seriously. Do you?
I thought that beat was fucking like, I was feeling it. They were like, this is coming in too strong. All right, let's go. Let's go. We got Hunter in the space. He has bipolar, and he has a book that's called My Mind is Killing Me.
It's called My Brain is Trying to Kill Me.
Okay, My Brain is Trying to Kill Me.
It's a really bad title, don't worry.
I like it. I feel it.
Really?
Yes, my brain is fucking killing me, and people don't get it. They think I'm exaggerating, but it's true.
At this point, Palina pulls up another one of my songs. This one is called Drawing Water. Here's a quick clip from it.
Yeah, dude.
I was vibing, dude. Tell me about your music. It sounds really dark.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I guess my music is pretty dark. Those songs that you just played, the first one is called Due North, and the second one is called Drawing Water, and they're pretty influenced by Nine Inch Nails and Tom York, respectively. So both of those songs incorporate a lot of synthesizer type shit, but I'm not really like a trained keyboard player, so it took a lot of like trial and error and experimentation. So that album, the EP that both of those songs are off of, the concept of it is kind of like basically reconnecting with the earth and getting your fucking mind blown. So, yeah, both of those songs are pretty cool. I was pretty happy with how they turned out, and the Phantoms EP, I think, came together pretty nicely. I was pleased with how it turned out at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's really dark. I was like, relating to it because that's like now like, were you in some kind of type of cycle or state of depression or mania? Because you do have bipolar. I mean, while you're writing music.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think that when I'm actually experiencing like a manic episode or a depressed episode, I don't really have the concentration for actually sitting down and recording. So when I'm actually like in my studio recording music, I'm usually in a very mentally healthy space. Music is very therapeutic for me. So when I'm making music, I'm usually feeling really good. But when I'm feeling down, that creative spark is a lot harder to find. And when I'm feeling manic, I guess I write a lot when I'm manic, but I don't record. And I'll also just mention really quickly that my last manic episode, like full bore mania, was in 2015. So it's been a long time since I've been fully manic, but I've definitely had hypomania since then. But I just mentioning that to provide a little extra context.
Sure. Yeah, that's a long time without being mania, the manic. I mean, congratulations. I mean, the music that you made here would probably be something I would make while I'm manic. When I start dissociating, like when I get in that phase, I'm like, oh, it's just like all adrenaline.
Mhm.
Yeah. Especially that
Yeah,
last
well,
song.
I definitely draw so much inspiration after the fact. Like, after a depressive episode, I have a whole lot that I want to write about it, Like, I have a whole lot that I'm reflecting on and processing. So I take inspiration from those periods of depression, but when I'm actually depressed, that's not a time when I'm actively writing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Like yeah. So we're just gonna talk, interview you just as if I don't know you. Your audience does not know you. So like yeah, Tony, like Hunter, like how old are you?
I am 28 years old. I feel like an old man.
And when were you officially diagnosed?
When I was 21.
Do you have any other neurodivergence?
Yeah, I do actually. So, in addition to bipolar, like bipolar is my main diagnosis, but I've also had OCD, which I'm currently like in recovery or in remission from, or whatever you want to call it. But I have had problems with OCD. And I don't know like how true I think this is these days, but when I was a kid I was diagnosed with ADHD. So I've got like, a couple different things going on, yeah.
Man, I feel like I have ADHD, but I think it's just bipolar. Like I always zone in and out and can't concentrate.
Yeah. Yeah, and like being on medications like you and I take, that impacts memory and concentration a lot as well.
Hmm. Like, I've been wondering, have you ever wondered if it's like your personality makes you weird or if it's bipolar that makes you weird?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a question for the ages. I think that I'm a pretty weird person just in general, and the mental illness component is just like an extension of that, maybe.
You don't come off as
Like
weird.
I don't think like my personality is my mental illness. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. But then like I wonder, but then I'll have, different quirks because of bipolar. I'll stutter, sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and like sometimes I actually will talk to myself, like under my breath. Like that's something that I do that I don't think maybe a neurotypical person would typically do.
I do that, and it's like I think everyone does it. Everyone talks
Yeah,
to
but
themselves.
I'm talking about like when I get like stressed or anxious. Like I'll find myself, yeah, just kind of talking to myself under my breath. I don't know. My girlfriend thinks it's super weird, so I guess that's why it stands out to me.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it just doesn't really matter in the end what causes our different quirks and whatnot. You know
When you said in the end, I assumed you meant when we die, and
what?
I was like, oh, that's a little dark, Paulina, but
Huh? What did
yeah.
I
I
say?
mean, you wouldn't have been wrong.
What did I say?
You were like, in the end, it doesn't matter, or
Oh,
something to
in
that
the end, it
effect,
doesn't
and you
matter.
meant
Oh
like
yeah,
at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, and I thought you
Nine Inch
meant at the end
Nails.
of your life.
Nine Inch Nails. I feel like I'm always in a in a constant state of confusion because like yesterday I'm like yelling at getting in an argument with my fucking troll again, and then
Oh
I
no.
guess I said something and everyone was like, "What? What'd you say?"
Here, Paulina is referring to trolls. People online who are not the greatest, people who try to start shit, start fights, and she talks a little bit about what it's like interacting with other neurodivergent people on Twitter Spaces when these trolls are around.
And like the room stopped, and then I got kicked out. I was like, "What do you mean? What did I say? Like what?" And they're like, "Why did I get kicked out? What did I say? Would I say something wrong? Like I don't know. I do that though. I guess like it happens a lot. They're like, "What did you say?" And it'll be something the way they word things. Like they take it the completely wrong way, where I didn't mean like that at all. Because I do get like very philosophical, but I don't mean it. And people are so literal sometimes, you know.
Do you find yourself like overthinking what you're about to say or what you have said a lot? Like, do you dwell on, for example, what you were just talking about? Like, you weren't sure if you had said something wrong or if you had like offended somebody or something. Does that really like mess with you?
I used to when I was like 20, and when I was a teenager, like and a kid, a lot. I used to like worry about like, did I say the wrong thing? Did I, offend someone? Am I in trouble? I was always worried about being in trouble or being bad.
Yeah.
But I've come to learn that, fuck it, and I don't even think anymore. I think too less now. Still overthink it.
Yeah, just live your life.
Forget
Um,
about it. I don't remember half the shit.
I have this weird paranoia, and I notice it at my day job a lot, where I will be speaking to someone or like writing an email, and I get worried that I've subconsciously put like swear words in there, like in like formal correspondence, and so I'll find myself like double or triple or quadruple checking emails that I write for like the words like fuck or shit or whatever. I don't know. I just, that kind of thing worries me, I guess. It's just this weird paranoid thought that I have.
Why are you worried?
Well, so in the example I was just using, I don't want to be writing a, an email to, let's just say, like, the president of the company and accidentally put, like, "this is fucking bullshit" in one of the sentences. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, it's something totally silly. Like, I would never actually do something like that. But the fact that it could hypothetically occur freaks me out, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess an email, no, that's really for me. I I'm afraid because I don't like to feel embarrassed. So like what feeling are you running away from when you are afraid to you know, do the wrong thing or make a mistake?
Do you still feel like, I remember from my childhood, like that feeling when you get in trouble as a kid and it just feels like the entire world is crashing down around you because, like, your reality at that stage in your life when you're like 6 or 7 years old, like, all you really know is the reality established by the adults around you. So, like, when you get in trouble for something as a kid, it feels like so much worse. Like, do you,
Yeah.
my question
Yeah. Yeah.
is, like, do you feel that?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, I remember like being in trouble in art class. I was talking too much and like the teacher made me put my head down on the desk and I felt so embarrassed and ashamed of myself. And it's because like I think it all comes down to like I wasn't secure as a child, as a baby, 6 months, I was neglected. Like I think it just comes down to that being hardwired into our brains that we're not safe and we're not secure, and then we will feel, if we're being neglected or ignored or any type of disturbance, then I feel like I'm not good enough. That when and then now even up as an adult, I get into these patterns where I'm like, why won't you love me? Like I do everything for you, and why can't you just, why won't you love me? Like I'm always like desperately like starving for that. I mean, I experienced for that like recently. It was just like, this person like online, I just felt like he was always yelling at me, and I'm like, why can't you like ever pay attention? Or like I'm trying to show you that I do care about you, and he's always talking about how like no one cares about him and like he's always alone. I'm like, well, I care about you, I care about you. And then finally, like last week, I just deleted him because I'm like, I invited him to my shows and telling him what I'm doing, and I get no response. And I just don't think that's fair. It's not a two-way friendship. I'm like, so I'm glad that I just kind of nipped it in the bud real quick, and instead of being friends for months on end, and
did
always.
Did you have a lot of friends when you were a kid?
No friends.
Okay.
How about you? Did you have friends?
Yeah, I did, but I was always like the outcast of the group. I was like the friend who no one liked, I had a circle of maybe like 5 other kids who I would hang out with, and like, they were funny, we would like laugh and joke and have fun and shit, but they weren't like true friends, and I didn't really start having like true friends, like real friends, until I was probably like in high school and understood more about myself and like what I value in people and like what friendship is and should be and can be. But yeah, like when I was in elementary school and stuff, I was like a total class clown, like always looking for attention and shit in a not appropriate way. So I was always kind of an outsider.
Yeah, I just straight up didn't have any friends at all. My friends were like Data and on Star Trek.
Nice.
I was too much of a weirdo kid. Like I remember having friendships and relationships with people with narcissistic, personality disorder, or people are like kind of on that spectrum since I was a child. I'm thinking back, I'm realizing on it now too. Like my mom has NPD, and my dad too. Like I never make them happy, and never like, whatever, they never said I love you, never once hugged me, and I was always like trying to get their attention. And then I would, even at the age of 6, I'd never like approach other people, or like girls that did want to be friends would always approach me first. And I remember one that would like pulled like my shirt down to my like shoulders, and because I didn't like, and she said you have to be sexy, and I was like, I thought that was weird, and because we were like 6 years old, I'm like, I don't like showing skin, like do not. I thought it was like kind of fucking weird, It's just stuff like that. Like, this is a weird kid, and then like, there's this other girl. She shared her nerds with me, and told her brother that
the nerds candy.
The fucking nerds controversy. This is the nerds controversy of the century. She shared her pink ones from me, and then she got the purple nerds, and then she said that I ate all the nerds. Told her brother, and then her brother she sent her brother after me and everything. And this is when I'm 7 years old. These freaking little ass sociopaths have been attracted to me since I was little, because I'm quiet and I'm nice. And then another psychopath, when I was at 12, this girl, all of a sudden slapped me in the face and wrote like my name on my dad's car with keyed it, a brand new Toyota Camry with her car key, out of nowhere. We were just like hanging out. All of a sudden, she fucking slapped me in the fucking face, and she started it is just escalated, and then I got in a relationship when I was 18 with a guy who's like a fucking sociopath.
Palina starts talking a little bit more about narcissistic personality disorder, also known as NPD.
It's just like I like, now that I've recognized that, like I recognize what I learned, what NPD is after my last relationship, and now that I know what it is, I am so happy right now. Like, I met someone, like I think I pretty much I'm falling in love, and I'd never thought I would ever be able to forgive myself, to allow myself to have been abused so much in the past, but now I know like what my worth is. Like, I'm so proud of myself. It is so gracious to be able to have this relationship with someone who I think is my equal, and he's pretty amazing. I know you talk about your girlfriend a lot. Let me hear how you guys met.
Yeah, so we actually, as a matter of fact, we met in a depression and bipolar support group, and we actually met each other virtually first because everything was online because of COVID. They weren't doing in-person meetings. So I found the information for this local DBSA chapter, Depression Bipolar Support Alliance chapter, and I got connected with them, and I started doing these online meetings once or twice a week, and I just saw this beautiful woman on the screen, and I was immediately kind of interested in her, and so we started DMing each other and got each other's phone number and shit, and it kind of just evolved from there.
Ooh. Ooh. Wait, so you guys live in different states? Sweet. Did you guys live in different states?
No, we're local to each other. It's so these different chapters, these DBSA chapters are organized by region. So we met in one of the Northern Virginia chapters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're from the same town and shit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they were just doing the meetings virtually for safety. It wasn't because people were spread out geographically.
The chances of that happening.
Yeah, I know, it was crazy, and for so long, I think bipolar had a lot to do with it, but I always had like very temperamental relationships with people, and they never lasted long. But I mean, my girlfriend and I have been together for over a year now, and it's been like really happy and stable. So it's just been great.
Yeah, I've been wondering like whether or not I wanted to like, you know, if I would be able to have like a serious relationship with someone who also had this like a serious neurodivergence. Like, would I be able to handle someone else's bipolar? Because we're fucking extra.
Yeah, I mean, I've been stable for a really long time now, so most of my symptoms are pretty under control. So I'm able to provide a lot of support to her. She has major depression, so you know, like I've always been there to support her with that, because she's, you know, been having kind of a rough go of things over the last year or so, with depression. But I've always been able to support her, and I've never felt like it's been like an energy drain or anything, because we're in love with each other and we want to support each other and be there for each other. So
Yeah, that's cool.
At this point in the conversation, Palina shares some of her own stories, this time about long-distance relationships and relationships that she's created using online outlets such as Twitter.
Like, yeah, I met this guy like it's through space, like on Spaces, you know. Yeah, I like to hop around and whatever, and he showed up at like one of the smaller spaces where there's like 4 people, and like guys do that, you know, because I'm kind of like hot commodity. And like they'll go into a smaller space and they're like, you know, I'm gonna get my chance to have some bonding. And I was like, I didn't get that vibe from him. I seriously thought that he was just in a small room just to like talk to some people, I guess. But he was like really quiet, and like me and these other people are like in the back DM each other like, oh my god, his voice is like so sexy. Oh my god, he has like the sexiest voice. And I'm like, so I'm asking him questions. I'm like, what's your favorite food? Because I'm like, you know, if you talk about food at all, it just sounds so sexy. And he's like bento box. Like, I'm like, what kind of bento box? But you liking it? He's like, yeah, a bit of fish. I was like, yeah.
And that's how the magic, that's how that electricity gets started.
Oh boy. So yeah, we had like a foursome and you didn't even know it. You know, because like other people in the room, you know, we were just like DMing each other. It's so fucking hilarious. So anyways, like, I think I DM'd about something about music or whatever. I was like, yeah, I'll DM you this, blah, 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 later. Oh, I told him I was going to DM the name of a guy, my friend that plays music on the Metaverse too. And so then that's how we started talking. I don't know. Like, we just immediately, like, clicked, you know? Like, we just, like, had things in common. And he has, like, OCD.
Okay.
I didn't know that because I thought he was just being, like, really aloof. Like, he just was so aloof. Like, he couldn't get it that I was flirting with him.
Yeah.
He was just like, and I was like, oh, and he would like disappear, like all of a sudden I wouldn't hear back from him for until hours. I was like, oh, he has OCD, like he's on schedule, you know, he has to keep. Yeah.
I mean, that sucks though, that OCD can impact your social functioning like that so much. I mean, I've been there with OCD.
Right.
It's a sucky situation, you know?
Yeah, you'd have to like have a partner who is like patient and who's not gonna like, jump the gun and be like, oh, why didn't you text me back, you know, like right away? Like, were you like don't like me, or were you like you know, are you cheating on me? Like, yeah. I don't harp on people, you know, for the quirks, you know. If someone's, I mean, like, this whole relationship with him, like, he's across the planet right now. He's across the globe, basically, you know, but, like, we don't really even talk that often. He goes around in spaces when he does have, you know, free time, and he plays music live, and he'll pop into usually when I have a space, he'll come into my space too, and that's kind of the way we are actually spending time with each other. It's like when we're actually just working. So I'm like, oh, so in a way, we've gone on like, 20 dates where he's serenading me the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. So
yeah.
this is all like a long distance thing right now?
Yes, I think so. It's just something that I
Okay.
feel like has worked out organically. I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
I just saw someone who I thought that I would vibe with. Um, he's hot, but I'm just kidding. It's just like
Nice.
no, it's just like yeah, I think we would make a good couple. He's also very like
That's awesome.
focused and like very focused and realistic and all this stuff. And like when I was like, so will you be my sweetie? And he was like, what does that mean?
You are crushing hard on this guy, man.
I know. He's like, what does that mean? And I was like, yes, no, or maybe. And he said, maybe. Uh, I think
Good
he really
times.
likes me too. Like after like we just met like the first time when we talked in DMs for like only like 2 minutes, he said that he had a premonition that he should talk to me and like, oh, he's feeling on me too if he's saying stuff like that. And we had to like, so
Yeah.
we are having it this is the way that I think like the metaverse and reality meld
For
together.
the audience, can you explain what the metaverse is?
Okay, the metaverse is kind of like the internet, but it's like kind of like a revamp of the internet, or we're making it more integrated to real life, like being able to play video games together. It's more like immersed, like as the old internet, it's like you go in chat room and you type the words and whatever, but right now I'm streaming live through the Twitter Spaces, but
Hmm.
I'm also actually to pull in Hunter, who lives in a completely different state, to be in the same location with me, which is called the metaverse. So Hunter and I are in the metaverse right now.
Yeah. For
But
real, it's
yeah,
trippy, right?
the metaverse coexists with real life because, but Hunter is recording this and playing this for as a podcast on Spotify, and that's in real life. So we're actually in real life and also in the metaverse at the same time. Blowing
Whoa.
your fucking mind, right, Jabber Jims?
Yeah, you
This
kind of
one
just blew
ETH.
my mind a little bit.
This
I
is why
felt
this is
that.
worth one ETH.
Oh man.
And one
Yeah,
ETH
you've got
means Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency, which is worth about $4,000.
yeah. I wish I had
And
more Ethereum.
NFTs cost a lot because gas money is about 130. That's why NFTs cost a lot. It's an investment. It's putting worth towards like artists are finally feeling worth it and getting our worth.
Yeah, NFTs are a really, really interesting new way of distributing art, and for artists to actually make money off of their art, NFTs are definitely like a very interesting advancement in that area. I've just been recently getting into them because Paulina actually kind of turned me on to this in the first place, because she was always posting stuff on Twitter about NFTs and like creating them and shit, and I became curious about it. So I actually started making NFTs, and I've only sold one of them so far, but I sold it for like $40, and that'll help cover the web hosting costs for Bipolar Recorder for the next month. So like that's dope. That helps me independently finance creative projects and stuff. Like it's very cool shit. Like it's still kind of esoteric right now, but it's popping at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, if you had your podcast monetized, to even make $10 will take like months.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, it does take money and time to produce a podcast. I think that like if you're helping people with a podcast, like, and you're doing better, then like who cares if they're taking money from ad space, because like it's the same as if they were taking money from a donor. You gotta
Yeah.
pay for fees and shit and
You
equipment.
make a very, very solid argument.
Yeah, I try to look at
maybe,
options. Like,
maybe
it's
I
taken
maybe I will.
so much CBT, like not CBD but CBT therapy for me
Cognitive
to.
behavioral
Yeah,
therapy.
I've had to like switch my brain and to be more optimistic and not focus on bad things. Like that's the whole inspiration for the Wakey Bakey galaxy metaverse, is that like I want to get people together and like want to be a safe space where people can have one-on-one conversations, and because I'm feeling a little like intensity from the NFT creators, and people are just like fucking like stabbing each other in the back and like throwing each other in the rug, which you could easily do. And there's a lot of mistrust that's going on, so I want people just to come back together again.
Yeah, the social media space can get pretty toxic pretty quickly.
It's still better than Instagram though.
I never used Insta. I never got the appeal of Instagram, and I think I dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, I like Instagram because it doesn't have words, and maybe I just want to look at stuff like photography.
Mm-hmm.
I use it for my podcast. People do write me from there only because I don't, I don't want to use Facebook. I don't want to, turn my Twitter into another podcast thing. And yeah, so I do have like some people that are right there, and sometimes I just don't want to write. It just gets heavy. I'm like, okay, like thanks for listening, but
Yeah. Have you had people reach out to you? Like, how many people have you had who have reached out to you like that after listening to your podcast?
I don't know, like 5 or so, or But I know, no, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I have no idea, and probably more than that. But like, um, but they like add me, and at least through my Instagram, they can find me. But not everyone has like wrote a letter or anything. But usually they reach out to me after they've listened to 1 or 2 episodes because it gets pretty heavy. And sometimes like yeah, people can relate to me, I guess. And then because I'm like I put it all out there, I'm very honest, and so that's probably why they're writing to me.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when people reach out to you like that? Do you get stoked about it, or is it a little like sensitive or whatever?
I feel nice when they're like, "Hey, you're doing great." Like some people are like worried about me and great, but usually it's like, it's a fan letter, basically. Like I don't want to turn anybody off from like reaching out to someone that's has a podcast, but like, even if let's say I had this podcast that wasn't about mental illness, like I do here on Spaces. I do have there's a following. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm egotistical, but there is an actual following of for I guess me, I guess. But yeah, like so like yeah, when people write fan letters and it gets a little bit overwhelming, it's like you reel it back in. Like some people cross boundaries, and they'll find information about me that that I did not release, or they find people that know me, and like because I'm speaking, I know they feel like they know me, but I don't know you. Like you're an audience I don't have any contact with. Yeah, they feel like they're my buddy, and I'm like, it just gets a little bit scary.
Exactly. Well, because people listen to hours and hours of you talking. So, and I do this exact same thing with other podcasts that I'm personally like really into and really invested in. You listen to one end of a conversation so much that you feel like you know that person so well, and that you've got this mutual understanding of some kind. But they've never heard the other end. They've never heard your side, and you are meeting them for the first time. You're interacting with them for the first time. So you've got to be a little bit respectful of boundaries, like you were saying. You don't want to... I don't like the phrase trauma dumping, but I can't think of like a better way to put it right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean though?
Yes, that was what I
Okay.
was trying to not say, but like was like, yeah, it gets a little bit overwhelming, not just of like you're so great, Paulina, but like, oh, I really like you, blah 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 blah, and this is what happened to me too, blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know you, like please,
Mhm.
please, yeah,
Yeah, I like reading reviews and stuff of books that I've written or podcasts that I've done. Anyhow, yeah, I think it's really cool when people reach out. A lot of people reached out to me after I released my memoir, actually, because they were interested in the self-publishing process and I guess how to do similar things. Like, I've had a number of people reach out to me over the last year and a half, asking me for feedback and advice on their own manuscripts that they're working on and stuff, which is like super humbling and cool that people do that. And I always try to respond to those people when I can.
hmm
So that's, yeah, it's cool, man. I like that kind of thing. I like it when
yeah,
someone's like, hey, it's cool that you shared this. Now I would like to share something with you. Like, that's dope. I love that. Um, but yeah, like, this has not happened to me, but if I were to get, like, an email from someone being like, hey, like, I'm about to end it. Like, I'm about to kill myself.
yeah,
Like, what do I do? Like, blah blah blah, that that's uncomfortable. Um that that's just me personally.
right.
But
Yeah, that would not make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, I'd be fine with that. But like, I can see where people are like, "What am I supposed to do? This is a big responsibility on me."
yeah, I was talking to James Edgar Sky, who is an author, and he has his own podcast called the Bipolar Writer Podcast. And excuse me. And anyhow, so James Edgar Sky is a mental health advocate, and he does a lot of writing and stuff, and he has survived two suicide attempts, and he has actually said to me on this podcast, as a matter of fact, that he's okay with people reaching out like that, but he told me something really important during that episode, which was like, if you're uncomfortable with it at all, do not try to get involved, because you might do a lot more harm than good. But I guess, like, he's cool with it. I guess he's been there, and he likes helping other people or something. I don't know, I'm not gonna speak for him, but I I guess what I'm saying is, like, yeah, some people are cool with it, some people are kind of not cool with it. It's just a matter of what each individual's level of comfort zone is, I guess.
Oh yeah. So what else should we talk about?
You were talking to me in a DM about being bipolar in college.
Yeah, it was hard, because it's a lot of work and that's stressful. Reading is very hard. I mean, was it difficult for you? I think it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
College was actually not super difficult for me. I went to Penn State, and I've always done very well academically. So in the classroom, I did great, but outside of class, I was going through some pretty real shit, and I was getting involved in some pretty real drugs and pretty real alcohol abuse and stuff like that. And that was what made college challenging, was just the emotional toll that kind of activity was taking. And yeah, like, balancing classes and stuff, I think that actually helped, that I had kind of a rigorous academic schedule, because it kept my days more structured. but at the same time, like when you're in college, there's so much opportunity for free time, and you can kind of do with it as you please. You know, some people are actually productive and get like jobs and shit so they can make some money. Other people use that time, like I did, to party and destroy brain cells. But college was fucking wild for me, dude. When I think back on it was such a complicated time in my life. I knew so many interesting people and was involved in so many weird situations and stuff. It was a real trip.
So, what helped you with getting through with college?
I think that I got lucky because I didn't start having really severe bipolar symptoms until like my last semester of college. And during that last semester, I was really hypomanic, but it actually helped because I was like obsessed with my studies. Like I got really, really obsessed with this subfield of psychology called emotional intelligence. And I like killed that class because I was so into the research and stuff. So I got lucky because just a couple of weeks after I graduated, I encountered like this crazy manic episode, like full-bore manic episode where I was like hearing voices and seeing things and shit for like 5 months. And if that had happened while I was in school, I would have probably had to have like dropped out or something, you know?
Yeah, I went manic like my last semester, but I made it. Yeah. So we're reaching the top of the hour here. It's been about an hour. I want to go ahead and wrap up this interview here, and I actually gotta get some fluid in me, and I'm gonna rest.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
Palina ended the show on a great note. Eating and getting rest, two staples of any healthy mental lifestyle. Like I said in the intro, this episode was originally recorded in November 2021. Some things have changed since then, but the Twitter Space mental health community is still going strong. Be sure to follow at Bipolar Recorder on Twitter so you can join one of our audio chats next time they're open. Although this particular episode of Bipolar Recorder was recorded over Twitter Spaces, the hashtag mental health chill zones that I host are not recorded and not an interview format like this podcast is. Rather, they are casual dialogues between peers and the mental health community where we offer each other support and camaraderie. I usually host about 2 to 4 hashtag mental health chill zone Twitter spaces each week. Since my day job keeps me busy, there's not a set schedule for them right now. Just be sure to keep an eye on the at Bipolar Recorder Twitter account to see when they're open. I usually host them on weekday nights between about 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Palina hosts a mental health podcast of her own called I Fucking Have Bipolar. Be sure to check that out to hear more about her story and insights. Palina is also on Twitter and Instagram at Palina444. I am on Twitter at HHKeegan, and again, Bipolar Recorder is on Twitter at Bipolar Recorder. Have you been enjoying the show? Be sure to tell your friends about it, share it on social media, and if you're like me and enjoy unique merch, you can visit my website, hhkeegan.com, the show website, bipolarrecorder.com, or our Patreon page to get cool exclusive merchandise to show your support for mental health awareness. Thanks again for listening. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Bipolar Recorder is a listener-supported show. To help keep the show running, consider checking out our Patreon page or visiting bipolarrecorder.com.
Unless otherwise stated, the hosts and guests on Bipolar Recorder are not licensed mental health professionals. Bipolar Recorder is not a substitute for therapy or professional medical intervention. If you are having a mental health crisis, please contact your local emergency services.